Hi, my name is Michelle, and my project this year is called ASD Alert, which is creating a device to help with autistic episodes using GSR and heart rate. So first off, I became interested in the topic of autism when I remembered in elementary school how me and my friends used to always go play with the special needs kids. And I remember that the aides were always on hand just in case something or the other caused one of the kids to have a meltdown. So I wanted to create a device that would help with this just in case an aide wasn't on hand. Then the child would have a device to help mitigate an attack before it spiraled out of control. So I did some research at first and found out that there's 4 types of autism: low functioning, medium, high functioning, and Asperger's syndrome. So while triggers vary, the most common triggers for autism are unstructured time or large social interactions. And when I looked up more research, I found that music can actually help with this. So here's my device. It's on an Arduino Uno board, and it gets connected to the computer using this USB cable, which connects to the serial port. So first off, here's the heart rate sensor. Now, since this is a wireless sensor, it connects with the chip, which is on the breadboard, and in turn goes to the digital input of the board. And as you can see, this red wire is the positive, or 5 volts in this case. Black is ground and yellow is signal. Now here's the GSR sensor. Unlike heart rate, this is a analog input, so this goes directly onto the board and puts numbers back into the computer. Here are samples from my 3 codes. The first one is from Arduino, and the averaging code and main code are from processing itself. Due to time, I'm just going to go into detail about one of them. So the main code of my program is on processing itself. Now what this code is the whole basic whole user interface. Now what this code does is it reads the values, analyzes it for a high heart rate or low GSR, prints values on screen, graphs data, play music depending on your value, and checks for a max heart rate or time to calm down. And it starts all over again. So as soon as it senses a reading, it's going to start putting down heart rates and GSR. It's down there. Here's an example of the graph that the program would make. It would have a side for GSR and a side for heart rate, and you can see it starts graphing it, and depending on the values, it's rescaled to fit the graph. Now back up here, I used an example of drawing the data from the heart rate. So first it prints your heart rate value on screen, let's say 85, and after that, it will see, this is basically printing your heart rate on the screen in blue. Then here it pushes a matrix, which means that it's starting a scale, which is 1 to 2, so that the values that I get would actually be scaled to my graph. And here it runs through the values as long as I is less than x-axis width, which is 375. So that means I can get 375 values before starting my graph over again. Now this is the part which I like a lot because it changes the graph color depending on your heart rate value. If your heart rate value is too high, the graph will become red, where if it's a normal heart rate, then it will just stay black. Same with GSR. And here's where it calls the earlier function, which it made, set heart rate color, depending on your value, and it'll draw the current data point. And lastly, it has a pop matrix to make sure that the scale doesn't get messed up when the program reruns again. So some challenges I had during this experiment was, 1, people found it very hard to find their own heart rates. So to fix this problem, I created this middle program, the averaging code, which found automatic heart rate and automatic GSR. Now another problem I had was when I was learning to code, I didn't use variables at first, so it was very hard to change when I needed to add in the extra graph for heart rate and to resize everything. It was really hard to do because I couldn't just change one variable. I had to go through and find the entire program. So it was hard to find what I needed to. But when I created the main code and the other little details, I added lots and lots of comments, so it was easier to see what I needed to do and how I could change it. So to conclude, my device met my objective because 1, it graphed the data, 2, it analyzed it, it was able to play music and calm down people's heart rates. This experiment, I'm really excited to keep on working on it next year as future research, because at the county fair, one of the dads came up to me, and he was a dad of an autistic child, and he said he was really excited for this to come out into the real world. I can't wait to make a feasible device that would actually be able to go in the market. Thank you.